All right, going through the Module 12 review, starting with question number 1. All right, so the first one here, again, your question might look a little different, but it'll be the same concept. How many outcomes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So each of those counts as one outcome. Then I want Amanda or Deborah to be chosen. So anywhere I see Amanda or Deborah. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times where that occurs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my answer there would be 6. The next one is Linda and Bob. So I had or. Oops, let me underline that. So I had or here. The next one I have Linda and Bob. So I want to have Linda and Bob together. And I see that right here, here, and here. So for that one, I have 1, 2, and I'm going to use a pen. 1, 2, 3. And that is question number 1. Question number 2. All right, for this one, I'm asked for the possibilities. And I want to find how many are possible. So my are possible is my question. When I'm looking for how many possibilities there are, I'm going to take each one. So in this first event, there are 2 possibilities. In the next event, there are 2 possibilities. And the next one, 3. The next one is 3. And the next one is 4. And I'm going to multiply those together. So I know 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, leaves me with 4, 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 9, and you can just throw this into a calculator. I just didn't have one sitting right here, so I was trying to do it without one, and that's going to give me 144 possibilities as my answer. Question number 3 is a sample space question. Your sample space is any of the possibilities. So I have 1 through 6 on my dice. So my possibilities then are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then the event of rolling a 2, the only outcome I have if I want a 2 is 2. Number 4, sample space again. So I am tossing my coin 2 times. So I could get a heads with a tails, or I could get tails with heads. Some of yours might say 3 times. And in that case, you would have something like heads, 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 tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, head, heads, tails, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, tails, or 3 tails. So that might be what you have. If you have 3 times, you could do 4 times, but then you get even more options. So the event that the second toss is a heads, and that is not all of my possibilities, because I could also get a heads with a heads or a tails with a tails. So when I get heads second, I want my H to be in the second place, like both of those particular choices. So I would have tails and heads, or heads with heads. Number 5. All right, how many people play soccer? So soccer is the entire circle. So I'm going to count everybody in the whole circle, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 people play soccer. The next one is how many people play volleyball but not soccer. So I want all of my people in the volleyball circle that are not also in the soccer circle. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. The last one is volleyball and soccer. So that was but not soccer. And this one, I want volleyball and soccer. And that is going to be my middle, which is 3, because we counted that earlier. Question number 6. All right, our upside down U, or the large lowercase n, stands for and that's what overlaps. So what is in G and M? And in my particular case, I don't have anything, so I'm going to use the symbol here because there's nothing in both of the sets, G and M, that are in both. G, and then that large U symbol means or, and I'm going to list every option. It says in roster form, so I'm listing them in alphabetical order. So A, B, C, D, G, H. Number 7. Mark up the page. A bag contains 9 balls that are labeled 1 through 9. 1 will be randomly picked. What is the probability of picking a multiple of 3? So I have those that are labeled from 1 through 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My multiples of 3 are 3, 6, and 9. So I have 9 options. 3 of them are my multiples of 3. I can simplify this to be 1 over 3, and that would be my answer. Number 8. An organization will give a prize to a local artist. The artist will be randomly chosen among 3 painters, 7 sculptors, and 12 photographers. So I need my total number of artists, 3 painters, plus my 7 sculptors, plus my 12 photographers. When you add those together, you're going to get 22. So that would be my denominator. And I'm asked if it is a painter or a sculptor. So my painters are 3. I have 7 sculptors, so I have 10 painters or sculptors. I can simplify that fraction to 5 out of 11, and that would be the answer. All right, one of our card problems. What is the probability that you get a black card? So my black cards are here. There are 26 of them out of 52. You can throw that into Desmos to simplify it, or you might realize there's only 2 colors, so that is 1/2 of your deck. The next one is the probability I get a king. My kings, that's not what I wanted to happen. My kings are here, and there are 4 of them out of the 52. You can put that into Desmos or simplify, or you might remember that is 1 out of 13. The next is what is the probability that is a black card and a king? So I'm kind of looking for the overlap here, and that's pretty easy to see on my screen the way I have this set up. So I would have 2 out of the 52 black king, 2 out of the 52 cards are black cards and kings. So that is 1 out of 26. You can type that into Desmos or to simplify it, or maybe you just know how to get that on your own without Desmos. All right. On these problems, you need to make sure that you read. I'm finding a lot of your questions are coming from you not reading the problem. X is gray in my case. X might not be gray in your case. X might be white. So make sure you read your problem. So mine is gray. So I'm going to put a check mark or an X for all of my grays. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 8 have checks. My not X would be not gray, so white would be 3 out of 8. Oops. Undo. I'm then asked down here to do 1 minus the probability of not X, which we said was 3 out of 8. You can just type that right into Desmos, and you're going to get 5 out of 8, which then is the same thing as my P of X, my probability of X. Question number 11. Mark up. All right, so I am told here at the beginning that I have a bag of marbles labeled from 1 to 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Event A are my odd numbers, which would be 1, 3, 5, 7. Event B are your numbers greater than 3, which would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A or B, I am combining, or means to combine both of those together. I'm going to put them, it doesn't say in roster order, which is numerical order. I like to put them in order. Just helps me make sure I get them all. 1, 3, 4, 5. Only list a number once. 6, 7, and 8. So I just combined those two lists to make one list. A and B are where they overlap. So A and B is the ones that are in both. So I have a 5 and I have a 7. Finally, the complement of A is what is not in A. So I used 1, 3, 5, and 7. So the complement, or my evens, because the opposite of odd is even, is 2, 4, 6, 8. Number 12. A stack of 10 cards, each given a different number from 1 through 10. Suppose we select a card randomly from the stack, replace it, and then select another card. Key thing here, we are replacing. What is the probability? The first is even. So I want an even card, and the second is greater than 7. So I have my 10 cards. Is my total that goes on the bottom. And means to multiply. I know both of them will be 10 because I am replacing. Out of the 10 numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I have 2, 4, 6, and 8 that are even. So that is, 10 is also even, 5. And then my greater than 7, these are my numbers greater than 7, and there are 3 of them. And then I would need to multiply. So 5 times 3 is 15 out of 100. We can simplify both of those by 5 to get 3 over 20. And that would be the answer. Number 13, another card problem. This time we are shuffling back into the deck. My first card that I want is a face card, and the second card I want is a heart. So for my first one, all of my face cards are here. There is 12 out of 52 of them, and means I'm multiplying. Hearts are in this line right here, and there are 13 out of the 52. You can type this right into Desmos, and it asks us for the decimal places. So I would do 12. You would end up with a fraction that is similar to this. That line means to divide. So I have 156 divided by 2,704, which gives me 0.05769. It asks me to round to 4 decimal places. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The 9 is greater than 5, so I need to round up, giving me a final answer of 0.0577. Number 14. Let me open up the markup. A small class has 10 students, 4 of whom are girls, 6 are boys. The teacher is going to choose 2 students at random. I want the probability of the first being a boy and the second being a girl. And means we're multiplying. I started off with 10 students in the room and 4 girls, 6 boys. If I already chose a student, I'm not going to want to choose the same one again. So I'm going to multiply that by 9 because I already chose one. There's 9 students left to pick from, and I want to choose a girl. So I'm going to multiply those together. So 6 times 4 is going to give me 24 over 90. Simplify that. You can use Desmos to do so. And you are going to get 4 out of 15. Number 15. Another card problem. All right. This time we do not put the card back, not put back in the deck. So my first card is a heart, second is black. So I want a heart and black. So there are 52 cards in the deck to start with, and means to multiply. Black cards we'll get to in a second, but it is and. So with me not putting it back, so if I started with 52 and I take a card out and don't put it back, I now have 51 cards. There are my hearts here, and there's 13 of them. And then my black cards are here, and there's 26 of them. Multiply this out, so 13 times 26 is 338, and then 52 times 51 is 2,652. Remember, in a fraction, that line just means to divide, so 338 divided by 2,652, you get 0.12745, 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is going to round that 4 up, so 0.1275. 16. Venn diagram problem. All right, so I'm asked for probabilities. Remember that this P here stands for probability. So I want the probability of circle A. A is the circle on the left, so it is this circle. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people out of my 13 students in the circle. The next one is the probability of circle B. And in that circle, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of the 13. A and B is where they overlap, and there are 3 out of the 13. The next one is the probability of A given B. So I am only given that red circle with Rachel, Brian, Deborah, Felipe, and Tom. This section here was originally in B, and I did that backwards. We were given circle B. So hang on, I'm going to erase that. We were given the green circle. Okay, so we were given this green circle. Deborah, Felipe, Tom, Miguel, Eric, Caitlin, Amanda, Joe, Ashley, and Kiko. So I want just that circle, and there are 10 people in the circle. So if I rewrote this, it's kind of like A over B. So I have 10 people, and then 3 of them were in that A part. The next one, and I know this one's a big one, I'm going to do the probability of B, which was 10 over 13, times the probability of what I just found, which was 3 over 10, which will be 3 over 13. And I have 3 over 13 is also A. So probability of A and B is also the probability that I just found when I multiplied those together. Number 17. All right, how many students drink exactly 1 of 3 drinks? So these students here drink all 3. The next ones drink 2. The next ones out drink just 1 of them. And our last group of people drink none. So I want those who drink exactly 1, which was my red group. So 81 plus 52 plus 121. And that is 254. The next one is drinks tea. My tea drinkers, I'll make this purple, are this entire circle. So I'm going to have 6 plus 12 plus 121 plus 124. That's going to be 263. The last one is how many of the students drink both soda and milk, but they don't drink tea. So my soda and I don't want any of my tea drinkers, so we're going to kind of forget about those ones in that circle. And I want the overlap for milk and soda, which is right here, which is 39. Number 18. What is the probability that we get a 5 is where we're going to start. So my 5s are right here. There are 4 of them out of the 52 cards, which is 1 out of 13. The next one is a diamond, which are right here. And that is going to be 13 out of 52. If you simplify it, you're going to get 1/4. Then the last one is a 5 or a diamond. So I already counted 13 in this row, but there's another 5 here and another 5 in each of those. So if I add that together, I'm going to get 16 out of 52. And when we simplify that, we will get 4 out of 13. Number 19. Almost done. All right, number 19. We want the probability of circle A, which is this circle here. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of my 13 students. Probability for B is the other circle, and it's the entire circle. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of my 13. A or B is the entirety of both circles. So I'm going to have 11 out of 13. Okay, just checking myself. Your next one is the and, which is your overlap, which is going to be 3 out of 13. I can then plug in, so it's the probability of A, which is 8 over 13, plus the probability of B, which is 6 over 13, minus the probability of A and B, which we found was 3 over 13. When we add those together and subtract, we are going to get 11 out of 13. And I get that both for what we just found and for A or B. Last question, question number 20. And let me go to the markup. So first one here is the letters before E. I'm not including E, I just want what's before E, and I have 4 out of the 4, 5, 6, 7 options. The next one is a non-vowel. Vowels are A, E, I, O, and U, as well as sometimes Y. I don't think it ever goes that far out. So my non-vowels or my consonants are B, C, D, and F, as well as G. The next one is and. So where's the overlap, which would be B, C, and D. And I'm not writing these probabilities in, so 3, 4, 5 out of 7, then 3 out of 7. And then the last one is the or. So I want to include everything that I've done, which is this. So everything that's less than E and the consonants. So I need to include these two as well, giving me 6 out of 7. The probability of X is 4 out of 7, plus the probability of Y, which is 5 out of 7, minus the probability of X and Y, which is 3 out of 7. Add those together and subtract 4 plus 5 minus 3, and you are going to get 6 out of 7, which we also see here. So this would be probability of X or Y. And that is your assignment.